Hello. This week's episode is The Long Morrow, which is about an old man coming back from a very long space flight. So it starts with a picture of our main protagonist who is in suspended animation. He's frozen in ice, sort of. You can tell by the effect on the box he's supposed to be laying in. And of course, this is not a still because it looks kind of iffy when you do that. So instead, he's laying still, but you can see the pulse on the side of his neck. So I'm not sure if they could have pulled it off with a still. It might have looked just overly unnatural if they had. So it sort of pans back, and he has some flashbacks of the start of the mission where he looks at, well, you know what this is? Well, this is our solar system, and he sort of points to that's the sun and the earth and Mercury and things. That makes very little sense. First of all, you can't spot planets at that range. That's not a thing. There's no nebula that would be the foreground object. And him spotting Pluto is just ludicrous. Also, they mentioned that Jupiter is volcanic. Not really. That's not really how that works. So I didn't care for that. I mean, they did their best given, they knew a bit more than that, but yeah, that didn't work so well for me. And then the blind shot of this other solar system. One of them is the sun and the other ones are planets, I guess. One of them is sort of at the same distance. Go find out. And off he goes. So it's 141 light years and he travels 7 times the speed of light. Nice for him. So it's a 20 year there, 20 year back sort of trip, and he's supposed to not age because of the suspended animation. So Merritt Hartley, who plays Sandy, she wrote a letter to Rod Serling asking him to come speak for her class, which he did. And then several years later, she wrote him another letter and said, "Hi, remember me? You want to cast me in one of your things?" And he cast her as Sandy. It's the only episode she did for the Twilight Zone, but she had a nice career and worked lots of things before and after. So the crux of this episode is what I call the Copernicus problem, and that's of course a Babylon 5 reference, in which you set off from Earth as fast as you can go. And then, because of the immense distance to your destination, landmark discoveries are being made behind you on Earth, and those ships will then overtake you. You can't get that on Earth, because even if I set off in the fastest car, there's no way you can invent a faster car that will then catch up with me. But in interstellar space, you can. So in Babylon 5, you have this ship called the Copernicus, in which people are also frozen, that just sort of hurtle out into space, and it'll be 100 years. And then they'll reach wherever it is that they're going. But in the meantime, just 15 years later, someone, well, in this case, buys hyperspace technology and whoosh, overtake the Copernicus. It's a sort of same theme as, I think it's Bradbury that writes the Song of Distant Earth that talks about this problem as well, where it takes so long to get where you're going that the advancements of your originator planet will have overtaken you by the time that you get to where you're going. And in this case, very much so, because when he gets back, they go, well, we solved that already. We've already established that. I don't know if they went there or if they look with light. They talk about radar. That's not working. But in some ways, they had confirmed that this planet was habitable or not habitable in this case. So he comes out of suspended animation and decides to just live to age to catch up with Sandy. Very romantic. What supplies did he live on? I could get it for the way back in case that he had, built something on that planet and then had abundant natural resources to bring with him. But just imagine him coming out of suspended animation and then he has to live off something for 20 years. What food does he eat? What's the oxygen supply like? Does he have toilet paper for 20 years stocked? in the spaceship. Like, no, that doesn't work that way. And I don't like that they made that sort of error in thinking. Doesn't work. He could have turned down he could have fidgeted with the suspended animation, allowing him to grow old while still remaining in suspended animation. That would have worked. Then we could have had a cool sort of lapse of him just laying in the block and then aging. But no. We get a striking framing when he comes back, though. It's really, really nice. I like it. And then, of course, the old man makeup. It's a lovely episode. Sci-fi is always really good when it comes to Twilight Zone, and there's going to be more of it this season. And but next week is the self-improvement of Salvador Ross, which is a completely different sort of animal. And I will see you then. Take care now. Bye.